to like walk up on me in a dark alley. And I was like, all right, here we go. Gonna shoot somebody in the middle of a freaking parking lot of an Exxon gas station in Barstow. Hey everybody, welcome back to During Business Hours. Today, a little something different. We're just gonna have a chat. Enjoy our conversation about how the last week's going. Has it been going well for you? If not, let us know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, share with a friend. Let's get into it. How has been your first weekend without your children, madame?
Very weird. I don't like it.
Explain it. Tell me what's weird.
I don't know. It's weird. It's weird to not have kids after having kids. It's
weird to have earrings after not having earrings.
I went, 26 years with no kids, living my best life.
Assumptive best life, yeah.
What I thought was a best life at the time.
True.
It's been 5 days with no kids, and I don't know what to do.
That's what I'm finding is I don't know what to do with myself. Like, I procrastinate, but then there's, I don't need to do it for anyone now. So why should I do it? Like, why should I clean my house? Why should I spray bug killer? Why should I take out the trash?
I took out the trash today. You're welcome.
Wasn't going to say that, but one for mom. Why should I get dressed? Why should I take a shower?
Why should you get dressed? Turn off these cameras.
Now we're like, what do? It's the weekend. We're supposed to be going out and having fun.
We could have went to the carnival.
We could have done a lot of things. I said the carnival the first night, and you were like, And it didn't seem like
I said fried treats. I said, be nice to me, because you got snappy. I said, all I said was we don't have kids. And you're like, we are the kids. I said I could eat a fried treat.
It's not exactly how it went, but
Cliff Notes.
You definitely disregarded it when I first said it. And then you're like, I could have fried treats. No interest, but I could have fried treats.
Let's go now.
It's 10:05 at night and it's closed. Soon it should close. We went to California. It's a hellhole. If you live there, escape now. Run. Your life is dependent on you escaping California. It's no longer the land of dreams. It's not where dreams are going to die. It's where dreams are going to be absolutely brutalized and then thrown into the ocean.
The thing about that is I feel like people who reside in California, it's like being in an abusive relationship.
You just can't get out of.
You don't realize how bad it is until you get out.
We drove in and you have that gas station switch where it's like $2 to $5. And
no menthol cigarettes.
And then no menthol cigarettes. Unfortunately, I smoke menthol cigarettes. I know I'm fat and a smoker. I won't be around long. Hopefully I will. But, statistically speaking, I've got 2 of 3 problems that are...
Well, only the good die young, and we're not good, so keep on trucking.
But we just kept seeing problem after problem. I think I was accosted for change at the first 5 stops individually, to where I was like, I'm not locking my firearm up. I don't care if I get a ticket.
Right. I had to grab your attention a few times.
Yeah, because I had turned somebody away and then they kept coming. I went to finally load up and they took that moment to like walk up on me in a dark alley. And I was like, all right, here we go. Gonna shoot somebody in the middle of a freaking parking lot of an Exxon gas station in Barstow.
Right.
Like, you just couldn't take no for an answer and then give me all his excuses of why and how he couldn't and what he was doing with it and why he wasn't going to go drink.
All
and I'm
kinds
like,
of stories.
None of my concern. I said, and I was very clear and blunt with him, I have nothing I want to give you. That's all it was.
Yeah.
And I'm not usually that honest.
I think what you said was even more slick than that, but I can't recall your actual words.
But it was very blunt to the point where I'm not going to give you anything. So back 5 fucking feet. It was very damn, But it wasn't that rude, but it was definitely rude and straight to the point.
Right.
And so the kids are asleep, doing well. We are 36 hours of no sleep at this point, trying to drive straight on through because forget Motel 6, forget the Super 8. Don't want to pay for it. And
I think it was less than 36 because we got there in probably 30 hours.
It was the big, beautiful car that we thought we could sleep in. And my wife, I'm going to take a step here. God rest her soul.
Alive.
You were dead at the moment, or metaphysically, had a problem where when she was tired, she could not sleep because she has anxiety of driving in the front seat. I think in the driving front seat, she thinks driving from accidents
It's you
previous.
driving.
And my ignorant driving because I don't pay attention to the road and I'm very nonchalant about it. Point being, every time she would fall asleep and jump and scream.
Mm-hmm.
So that happened for a good 5 or 6 hours. And I'm driving. I'm actually wide awake at this point.
Because I've scared you so much.
Yeah, my eye's kind of heavy. And I'm like, it's not to the point where I need help yet. I'm just an ignorant person who's like, oh, my eye's heavy. I can still see.
Oh my!
But I don't say anything.
This is why I don't sleep when he's driving.
But when I get tired and I close my eyes and it's like an extra second, I'm like, all right, I need you to drive. That's the point. I most often close one eye. You'll never see the left. She sees the right, but it's always the right because I think I have a slant eye. Either way, she freaks out. Cool, we're gonna switch. So we switch. I think I got like 30 minutes at one point of sleeping. 45 minutes.
One that was 2 hours, but sure.
Okay, so I get 2 hours. Great. I'm like refreshed. Here we go. Day 1. Get into it. By day 2, after us going through the night, I think it's like 4 a.m. We pull over to sleep. Mommy jumps in the back. Khaleesi jumps in the front. It's 3 a.m. and she's awake. Does not want to sleep.
Yeah, something hit my stomach wrong because we stopped just to pee and we were going to keep going. And I was like, just wait here because I legitimately feel like I'm going to throw up. So like, just give me 5 minutes because I may actually puke right now.
5 minutes turned into 3 hours.
An hour and a half, but sure.
Just so you know, we were at that rest stop for 3.5 hours. Because we had stopped at 1, end of the night. I think that was when your stomach started, But the one that we actually took a nap at, I tried, but 5-hour energies kicked in hard. And then me and Khaleesi were just up front, chilling, doing our thing. 6 a.m. comes around. I think it was like 5 something. And we finally go. And so, mommy's in the back seat now, sleeping with the kids because there's third row. So she's sleeping and she's out for a good, I wouldn't say like 2.5 hours. I would definitely say almost 2.5 hours.
It was more of a peaceful sleep, but I was also still kind of nauseous. So it was like interrupted.
She's so messed up. Her equilibrium is so messed up. She gets awake, rises from the dead. That's the worst 5 minutes of my life. That's all she says. And I'm arguing with my wife that it has not been 5 minutes because time is so delulu at this point. So I'm like, we could swap. No, It's daylight. You're staying driving.
My stomach was still unwell.
We made it through.
We did.
But I stayed up when we got there, I think at like 8 or 9 that night.
I never want to do that again.
So we get there 8 or 9, ready to go to bed. She hits.
I think we got there just before 6.
Okay, just before 6. It's starting to get dark. She goes to bed pretty soon after.
I went to bed at 9 o'clock.
I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I got much less sleep than everyone. The kids are perfectly rested. She got a couple hours. In and out 5 minutes of her nightmare sleep every once in a while. Needless to say, and I'm not mentioning other things because my wife will get angry, she got plenty of rest. Across 48 hours, she got one night's rest. I'm working on like 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And it's bedtime. A house I don't live in. There's a bed for me, though. Do I hit that bed until the next day? No. Because now...
got like a second wind or a third wind at this point.
It was like cocaine. It hit me. A 5-hour energy was on the tanker reserve and got tapped at like 9 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like, you're going. I was like, okay, well, PlayStation set up, movies, TV, sitting there in the same seat doing nothing. That roof sure as hell ain't white. Like, just nothing. Something was wrong
Delirious.
with me. Almost 5 a.m. I jump in that bed.
Jeez.
Yeah.
And I got up at 6 a.m.
Mm-hmm. So did I, probably to use the restroom after that thing shifted. Felt like I got kicked in the kidney. It was great. We had fun. We were just on caution the entire time. I do not recommend visiting Northern California or California in general. Everything's on fire from south to north. And what's not on fire is begging for change.
Spare change.
Somebody's, the guy died over a honey bun last week.
Did he?
In California, yeah.
Allergic, or how'd that come about?
No, his uncle stole his honey bun, so he killed him. Then he called the cops on himself.
About California.
Gotta love it. So that's our vacation in a nutshell. Also, we're bad gamblers, lost some money. So also forget California then on the, what do you call it? The native side. It's not really California, not really government land. It's kind of like
Sovereign to the natives.
sovereign, citizen land that steals your money. Did come back for a while though. It was razzle dazzle. I don't know how they do it every day. These YouTubers just sitting on. There is some bullshit going on. They are paid actors. If I went 8 hours doing what we did for 8 hours,
a day?
a day, 7 days a week, we were there for 8 hours because we were there for 4.
Oh, yeah, I'd be
lost
pulling a
everything,
shift
got
at the
everything
casino,
back, lost it
but
again.
not daily like that.
It's ungodly. So something is fueling them from the devil.
Meth.
Yeah. Well, they do lose a lot of weight when they start doing it, getting popular. Saw Vegas Matt sucked up like a beanpole. Yeah.
People function on meth for a little bit.
How late
till
is
they
that
stop.
sushi spot open? And because we don't have kids, there's no set time for dinner. Not that I couldn't miss a meal, but like the most messed up thing besides the homeless and the people crashing their cars into each other, the stabbings, because there was also like stabbings in Sacramento.
And fires.
Is the firework brigade. It's really just, I brought some fireworks, some Roman candles. And like, this is not your like uppity ass neighborhood.
Right.
My family lives in like a very broke neighborhood where they're probably lighting fireworks
I wouldn't
off.
say broke. It's just
broke.
regular.
Mm-mm. There's cars on lawns. It's broke. There's no HOA. You're broke. If you can work on your vehicle in your driveway and not give a shit.
All right, Mr. Uppity.
Hold on.
Continue.
With no cardboard and just like you're not concerned about the property. It's like you don't own it. Not one person on that street. I guarantee you, nobody owns it.
Sound like my sister when she was 16 and thought we lived in the ghetto.
It's not the ghetto. North Highlands is the ghetto. But this is like, because I get it. I'm out of touch. But what I'm saying, this neighborhood pissed me off. But not one mother owns their house there. Not one.
Okay.
So little Russian lady, we're going to call her Karen.
Younger, actually. She wasn't even an old broad.
Karen. Probably fresh off the boat. Doesn't know the rules here. Maybe she thought Iran or China or somebody, bombs are coming. I wanted to celebrate a pre-4th of July with my father, so I gave him some Roman candles to go boom. They're just, red, white,
cute
and
little
blue.
things shoot up.
Yeah,
done.
Orange, green, whatever her flag is. I'm sure the colors was in there. The idea to have some fun for 5 freaking minutes in our neighborhood. I got buckets of water. I got a hose on standby. If I burn your house down, I'm responsible.
Mm-hmm.
This is what white privilege is. This is it. Out there.
She stomped on your white privilege,
yeah,
bro.
She stomped on it. She calls the fire department immediately. Before we could light the 4th.
It hadn't even been out 10 minutes.
Not even. Before the 4th one is out. Fire department's coming down with their spotlight. Sitting on the corner of the road looking right at us. And I'm like.
What killed me about that was they showed up faster for a firework than they showed up when we was getting robbed.
Yeah.
Wild.
I think they're paid better for fires.
I guess that's why there's no F the fire department songs. Because they be showing up.
There is F the fire department songs, but they're just not
By
as popular.
crackhead.
Yeah.
Why didn't you let my ex-wife's house burn down, you backwoods criminals?
So Sac County Fire Department, or what do they call it?
Sac County Fire Department.
Good job, but also Karen can suck a fat one, because it was definitely a cool moment. We were, like, oh, these are really cool. Like kid again with your dad.
Right.
Having a wholesome moment. She didn't say stop. She didn't say she was concerned. It was over our house. They were not large. It was not mortars. It was not big booms, nothing. She called them. You could see like snapping photos, gets on the phone immediately, turns around with her blonde hair and pigeon-toed hips that she's got. She swings around and just a horrible look on her face. And I'm like, yeah, she's calling the cops. But from that moment, it was probably less than 60 seconds. Probably in my head, I would say less than 2 minutes before the fire department was on that street, sitting there for a good 30 minutes. So not only were they there faster, their response was better, and they wasted more taxpayer dollars sitting there.
For 2 more hours.
They were there for about 30 minutes, and then they turned the spotlight back off. So I don't know if they were there for 2 hours, but I only checked at the 30-minute mark. I know Kyle said they might have been there longer, but it's not their fault they were called out. It's a very ignorant woman that apparently is very new to the area, renting a house down
They
from my
may have
parents.
even been on our side because they blocked the view from her window to our little adventures. Maybe they didn't
she's on
care.
the street.
Oh, was
Yeah.
she? I thought they blocked
Street
right in front
goes
of
like
her.
straight up and down. Here's the stop. Here's the stop. We're here. She's here. And then they park here.
Okay.
So they're here. Her house is 3 down from my parents.
Okay.
They don't live on a straight street, just so you know. It kind of like bends and winds, so you can't find out where. But there's crazy people on the internet.
That's true. There is.
He's going to be like, it was a straight street in Sacramento, California. The only straight street with those things is here. Boom, 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 boom. This is where your parents live. Send me 2,000 Bitcoin.
Please.
Or they start swatting it with fire department calls. We should pretend where my parents live is Karen's house.
Yeah.
Karen. If you didn't get the freaking joke, now you got it. Everything else was good. Kids learning to swim more until separation time is always the hardest because, boy, the kids want to just be on you like those, what are those early 2000 shoes that you girls loved? Like warm bears that just gripped your feet.
Uggs.
Uggs. They're like mini Uggs and they don't want to let go. They're all over you in the last 24, 48 hours. Like, dude, why don't you do that? No, wait, I want you to cuddle. I want you to do this. I want you to do that. I want to stay with Dad. So we dropped the kids off and we're like, you know what? We're going to go. But because of California's laws, everything has to stay there and then we're going to drive out. Very fun moment. I had to leave firearms at my parents' house, locked securely. I just don't like leaving guns in a place that I can't access them, like gun safes, lock boxes, pressure boxes, so on and so forth. But do you think, and I just had a thought, if that car was stolen or firebombed, because it is a nice 2025, Hyundai Palisade, what would the insurance cover? Would it cover the firearms and the ammunition? Holsters and all?
Who knows? I don't know how none of that stuff works.
I'm just wondering if any incendiary devices ever got too hot.
What happens?
That's what I'm wondering.
No, because you'll probably have the answer to this.
Oh.
If something was to legitimately catch fire and the gun is in there, does that ignite the gun to go off?
The ammunition.
Yes.
High temperature, yeah. High temperature.
So I'd have to cremate your gun for it to...
Yeah. Basically, large melting points. It doesn't just bing in the sun,
That would be ridiculous. Texas would not be so pro-gun at that point.
UV rays, I've seen some movies where UV rays were going through, was it not Day the Earth Stood Still, something about magma and the core and all that stuff, and UV rays were spotting through, and a gun melted to the concrete and exploded, all the firearms killing a couple. It was crazy, straight, what is that? Final Destination stuff, but crazy. So we leave, we jump on a plane, then we get the weirdest, what's that place called we ate at?
In the airport?
Yeah. There's a bar and grill in the Southwest Gate terminal of Sacramento SMF. And they have these, I had the problem with the billing. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. I still don't know what the name of that place is called.
Okay. There's this bar and grill. And so we get there, we order. Lady is just dead rude. This waitress hates her job. Seems real friendly at first, but then just...
Yeah, customer service is just not there.
Not there. It's Sacramento, so what's there anyway? But order a burger.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, can I get some ketchup and some ranch? We don't have ranch. Nobody orders ranch here. Why would we have ranch? What?
Ranch is a basic.
Just a basic thing. You don't got ranch? I can tell you how to make some ranch. Not going to do that? Okay, can I just have some ketchup for my fries or my burger? That's a problem because that didn't come I think I asked.
Literally, you had one bite left of your burger, and you had to
Yeah.
remind her 3
It
times.
was the driest burger I think I've ever had in my life. And I'm not that picky with burgers, but this was like, it's been out for days dry. So I was kind of like, not really happy with it. And I think we got a side salad to begin with. And this is what started the we don't have anything joke here.
Right.
I asked for Caesar dressing because it comes with balsamic or whatever. And then she made that same comment about, we don't have that. Why would
And
we
no,
have
it wasn't that. It was that she can't substitute it because a Caesar salad is an option on their menu.
Yeah, she doesn't have just the dressing.
Right.
That was the point. She doesn't
Okay.
have just the dressing.
Okay.
So it was pre-coated, pre-bagged, however. And I'm like, that's weird, So then it was, okay, let me get you ketchup, but in the rudest way. The last bite, last minute after me asking 4 times. And I don't even think we got a refill. Customer service is really lacking out there.
Yeah.
Really lacking. So we get on the plane, we come home. It's been 2 days of home where we're just laying around doing a little bit of nothing. Went to work, drove my wife out to our place, which is 80 miles down the road and 80 miles back. Have you enjoyed my traveling? Because you went twice.
Yeah. I enjoy your company.
My company, or am I not falling asleep on the road because you're with me?
Both.
She now sees how I forget to eat sometimes, and then by the end of the day have like the crack wind.
I will say I tried that because I know you stop and get the tornado deals from
on the way
Jiffy Trip or whatever. Yeah. The one that you get, not a fan. I don't know how you could get that one every day. It was not good.
It was not at its peak, I will tell you. It was very undercooked. The cheesy pepper jack tornadoes are usually like a cream cheese and nacho cheese mixed.
Yeah. And your girl loves cream cheese.
But it's cream cheese with nacho cheese flavoring.
Yeah, that was not
and
for me.
And pepper jack cheese, but baked into a tortilla.
I don't know what type of Southwest steak cheese deal I got for myself, but that one was much better than whatever.
Oh, those are good. I like the Polynesian sauce with that. You're saying that has dipping sauce.
I was saying a dip was needed.
Yeah.
Just to
if I had to substitute, Polynesian is the one to go with.
It was on the precipice of perfect. I'm like, this is just missing just a little something.
Usually she'll have taquitos with ranch and beef and cheese.
Absolutely not ranch.
If kids have ranch, you have with...
I get the chicken and cheese ones, and then I'll mix sour cream and salsa, make my own little dippy. Phenomenal.
So a Southwest ranch?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So ranch. Fine. I've just been making, because they were out of that fancy bread, I've been living off of sandwiches on steak rolls with chipotle sauce.
You've discovered how to...
It doesn't affect my skin, which is even better.
Right.
And
you've discovered your favorite...
Togo sandwich.
Yes, your Togo sandwich sauce. Your Christopher Columbus.
The only thing that I would go back to actually have in California. But, there was no shade, because Nogman's your friend, and he's friends or associates with this business owner. But Shogun Restaurant in Carmichael...
I was disappointed.
Has gone way downhill. I thought it was the one place.
And that's crazy.
Because it was downhill because the owner, Jimmy
got
Kill,
himself in a bunch of them.
He got into meth, and then he cheated on his wife, beat his wife, almost killed his kid, almost killed his father-in-law.
Good grief.
If you don't remember that, go back to that podcast 2022 when all that was. He called me asking if he could borrow a gun, hunt his wife down.
Oh, yikes.
You remember that?
No.
Yeah, he's like, you got guns, I need a gun. And I'm like,
I was
Jimmy,
in my own turmoil then.
That place used to be great. Like, yeah. I think we celebrated our first year there with sushi boats, and then our last, our next 3-year anniversaries, December 16th was always that day. It was, party every year. That's when we got that business open.
Right.
I was in business, but that was our location, and so Jimmy always did the catering. But by that time, it was over. He was gone.
Right.
So the new guy, can't remember his name. It's Vlad or Vladimir. He's a Russian guy. Alex, Russian name, but Alex is the substitute. And so he's friends with your friend Nogman, who also works for a bunch of places out there, restaurants and restaurateurs. And so I wasn't going to give him the feedback there. So if this ever gets back to Alex, some honest feedback, hire new people.
Please.
Please.
I know that it was that girl's first day
So
But so many things went wrong.
let's start at the beginning. Nogman sits down and orders every, like, what was it? The cocktail shooters.
Yeah, oyster
Shooters
or
for,
something.
there's supposed to be 4 of us. So I invited Abdur. It was me and my wife and Nogman. Nogman usually comes with his girlfriend, but they're doing separate things.
She's out sick.
Yeah. So we get there. I love Shogun's. So we said, let's go to Shogun's. It's a familiar place. We're not going to hit Sake. We're not going to hit Silver Sake, Mikuni's, or Miku's, or Misa's, whatever. There's a bunch of options because Nogman likes express sushi and he knows Alex. And we're like, hey, he also owns Shogun's now. Let's go there. He's usually there. Haven't been there in 6 months, 7 months, something like that.
Yeah.
We sit down. We're like, hey, we're waiting for one more. 5 minutes. She comes back at 2 minutes. Hey, you ready? 3 minutes. You ready? 4 minutes. You ready?
All right, sure, we're ready.
Are you sure she's going to come back at 6 minutes? No, 5.5 minutes. She brings it.
Yeah.
We need one more because he ordered 3. We need 4. So, we get the 4th.
That was the crazy part, too, is we told her that there was 4 people. She saw that only 3 were sitting. Obviously, we are not yet ready now.
Well, we told her we were waiting for somebody, and she still brought it when there was 3 of us. So, I don't know. She's like 20-something. I hope so because she's serving alcohol. I don't care what the rules are. I hope so. Back to my point. We sit down. We have conversations. We're having a good time. We're waiting to order, doing our thing. I think I was the problematic one. I have high hopes for this place because I've been there. New ownership and old ownership.
Mm-hmm.
So the ordering happened like this. Nogman sits, asks a bunch of questions, orders all his food, and it's a lot of food. I go next. He ordered 2 entrees and something else, right? And we ordered 2 appetizers.
You guys both ordered 2 rolls. You ordered some extra appetizers to take
He had like 1 twist. I had 1 twist. Point being, 2. So 4 items, 1 item, 2 items. That's it. Very simple. Not very many twists to anything. It was like, hey, does this have here? No cucumbers there. Very simple.
Right. So we're all ordered.
All ordered.
Everything's punched in. Then Abdur shows up. And about 3 minutes later, he orders. So when it comes to the food coming out, I get mine first. So we
figured because hers is raw.
Mine is nothing's cooked on mine except maybe the rice.
Throw it in a bowl. Scoop of your
spicy tuna.
Which it was a dollop, a very large dollop. And what happened next?
So I get my food. I wait a couple minutes because I don't like eating
alone
when I'm at a table. So I wait. Their food still doesn't show up. So I was like, whatever, I'm going to start because I'm hungry. Been all day. So I'm eating my food. When I'm almost finished with mine.
About 15 minutes later.
Abdur gets his food because he was next. He was the last to order and the second to get food. Mm-hmm. So he starts eating his food and then one of your 2 rolls comes out. And it's wrong.
And I state that it's wrong.
Correct.
And this is the awkward part because I ask her again, hey, are you sure this is what it is? And then she goes and gets Alex. After me, like, hey, I'm going to send this back because it's not what we were discussing. I asked if it was, deep fried and so on and so forth.
Obviously it's not.
Just go ahead and deep fry it for me and make it like that and then do your thing. And Alex comes out and is like, yeah, I'll just do it for you. But he's in a mood because I'm sure he's ready for his rush or had a day. But it looks like it was dead. We were the 2nd people in there.
Yeah, nobody else.
And we are now the 6th couple of batches of people. So there's probably like 30 people in this restaurant. And everyone else has gotten their food. And we have 3 items on the table.
Right.
We didn't get appetizers. We got our shooters, barely. And I'm already like, hey, we've been here 30 minutes.
Right. So another 20 minutes passes.
Mm-hmm.
You get your 2nd roll.
Yes.
Alex comes to...
and it's uncooked. It's supposed to be fire grilled on top, toasted and warm.
So Alex comes, everybody's chit-chatting, another 20 minutes passes. Nogman still doesn't have any of his food.
Nothing.
So he mentions something to Alex and he's like, oh man, let me go get on that. So he checks in with the kitchen. Now my appetizer shows up. My food's done.
Yeah.
Your food is done. My appetizer shows up.
And I've already given Nogman half my food because I was not happy with the cold sushi. And I'm telling you, it was like, this is ice cold in a roll that's supposed to be warm, like fresh shrimp on the inside that's deep fried, a whole tempura piece, that's supposed to be nice and cozy on the inside and then fire roasted on the top, and the Godzilla is supposed to be deep fried. I wanted the warm stuff today.
Right.
And we have kids at home that we're supposed to be going without for the next 2 weeks in like the next day. So we would like to get back home at a reasonable time. And we've been here almost an hour after these issues.
Right. So Nogman lets Alex know, hey, man, I still don't have my food. Now my appetizer shows up. And I'm sharing with everybody, which was the original plan, but my stomach's full because I've already had my entree now. So we go through my appetizer. Now, 20 minutes after that fact, Nogman's food shows up. He still doesn't have his appetizer. You still don't have yours.
And one of his is wrong.
Wrong.
Again. And the owner at this point has taken great care to finally, hey, let me get this right. She's new, yada, yada, and then correct everything. But 80% was still wrong from what he corrected. And I told him, I was like, hey, I need these 3 orders of pot stickers that come in orders of 6. They're really small. My son wants one. My daughter wants one. My mom wants one. And, they're appetizers, but they're, just 6 pot stickers that are small, like 3 regular pot stickers. Mm-hmm. It's not a fast thing. So I'm like, hey, I need those to go at the end of the meal. Mm-hmm. That was the fastest service I got. And I got them technically at the middle of the meal.
You ordered them in the beginning with everything else.
Yes. And I said, at the end, can you please get those to go? Because it takes them 5 minutes to deep fry 3 orders and put some sauce in. Here you go.
Right.
I've done it because I've used to help out at the fucking sushi restaurants. I know. And so it's one of those things that just grinds my gears when nothing is in line as a business owner working as an operator in their business to a degree that is almost ignorant.
Right.
He had nothing under control. Not his people.
It was crazy to me because I agree with that thing where, like, if your friend or family owns a business, you should never ask them for a discount. You should pay full price.
Yeah.
But when you mess up to that level, have some kind of credit or something on the bill.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, you could give us an appetizer, X, Y, and Z.
Yeah. Or, hey, this rules on me. Sorry about that mess.
Because we had to send almost half of the menu back over and over again. Like,
right. I'm not looking to get my whole meal comped, but cut me a break.
Yeah, man. We weren't complaining.
It was a mess.
Yeah, we weren't complaining. It wasn't like, oh my God, this is horrible or wrong. It was like, no, hey, can I send this one back and then just get you to deep fry it? It was very nice and mature because we do business right there.
Right.
Next door neighbors. And like, this is where my shop's always been. It was trying to be as nice as possible. And he's friends with the guy. So I'm uber like, I don't want to piss Nogman off. And I don't want to piss my, people who work next door.
Associate off.
Yeah. And so at this point, I'm like, dude. And he's sitting and just kind of like injecting himself into our group here.
Right.
At the end of the meal. We're trying to have conversations. He's talking about Gina.
People they know together.
Yeah, 2 workers that
the conversation was, I didn't mind.
Yeah.
But it's like, bro.
But he's not leaving. He's sitting there on the table.
Yeah, he's joined to the party now.
Yeah, but now and it's a weird thing that people do when they feel like they're above somebody. They'll sit above somebody. And so he's sitting on the tabletop.
Next to us, yeah.
Next to us, overlooking us. And like, oh, I could do this. I could do that. I can do it. I'm like, okay, cool. But it's about employees at another store that he sold, the one we were talking about, Express. Mm-hmm. And so he calls and he's trying to get Nogman to convince them to come work over here because that would save and help him. I don't think
that was the situation, but sure.
Yeah, it was. He was trying to say, this girl who's a gorgeous waitress and attracts all these people, he needs her to work at Shogun. Because she would bring in a lot of clientele. I don't think that was
I understand the conversation. I don't think that was the point of the call. But
that was the whole point, is to call and be like, look who's here, come here, and we'll have a conversation. And then inject the, hey, you need to work here. Except she's got the biggest, butchiest sister. It was not told to me in this conversation. It was a throw off in the worst way. They're talking about 2 sisters, this gorgeous sister, yada, yada. Brings in a lot of clientele and they're great together. They work together. One's just hard to work with. I'm thinking, okay, like ugly stepsister type stuff, but she does her job and she's obviously employed. So it's not like, hey, I can't fire one and just keep the other. Turns out you could have, but it was more of a bouncer and a waitress situation. One girl was the bouncer. That was the problem, but it wasn't told to us. So I mistakenly God dang.
Caught you off guard.
Caught me off guard. I may have offended somebody. I don't care. they may care, but I hope the girl gets the job. But, tell somebody. Like, this is what you're talking about. Don't insinuate that one's ugly and one's like, Be like, no, one is a muscle builder and one is like a figure.
Mm-hmm.
Like the muscle.
Anyways.
So I think at that point he was a little offended and then walked off, and that's why he didn't comp anything. I would have given an entree, especially because now all 3 appetizers are ice cold. When I'm taking them home, 90% of the food didn't come out right or on time. We've been there almost 2.5 hours. And tell me why we were charged for more items on our bill that I still had to correct. And I'm like, hey, I think you charged us twice for 2 of these rolls. I think you charged us an extra.
That's right, because Abdur, he got charged twice for a roll that he only ordered once. And he even sent it back. He was like, no, I only got
one of these. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Shogun roll. That's what it was. There was 2 Shoguns and then there was 2 Lion Kings on there. So they had to take almost $20-something off. Tell me why. So we get the roll or the bill. It's like $180. And we invite everybody out. We'll pay. We're going to pay. And I'm like, all right, these 2 things need to come off. It's, I think, almost exactly $180 or $160. Hey, fix this for me. After they take the 2 rolls off, tell me why it's still only like $8 different.
Right.
My assumption is there was a discount on the first ticket, but then added 2 extra rolls. And then when he removed the 2 extra rolls, he removed the discount.
Could be. I didn't stare hard enough to do math.
I stare at the money, especially when I'm upset. Only when I'm upset. Otherwise, I'm spending.
Yeah, if you're happy, you don't even look. I don't care what you got on there. Just
I was offering to fly a bitch out today, California, get my kids back. Damn the consequences. My wife being the proverbial,
consequence.
Yeah. I was like, go get my kids back. I'm bored. I want to spoil something. I can't believe, out of all of our travel to California, I've replaced the Togos that I eat when I go there. I've replaced the Shogun.
And my Jambi bowl.
And now that I've bought my wife a mixer from Ninja, they're not a sponsor of this video, but hey, I've got now a Ninja coffee maker, a
Soda Stream,
and a Ninja blender. And they make everything.
And now I have my own Jamba Juice at home.
And now we have Jamba Juice at home. There is nothing that California has that we can't do for ourselves at home. We're becoming more self-sufficient thanks to Ninja.
Thank you, Ninja.
Thank you, Ninja. We appreciate it. Because it's one of those things I only ever got or ate. I'd be like, all right, well, I'm going back. What do you want to eat? I want my bowl from Jamba Juice. I want my Togos. I want my Starbucks. Because Starbucks out there is different than Starbucks here.
Yeah. You know that Starbucks by your parents' house? They make a better coffee. Mm-hmm. Not better than the coffee I make at home, but
it's definitely better Starbucks here. Yeah. It's almost like the beans have to travel 2,000 miles and they get heat baked and all this stuff. And
yeah. Like, they're sick from that road trip too.
Exactly. A little extra roasted. Or it could be all the chewing tobacco that, I don't know.
Who knows?
It goes through New Mexico.
Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
They've been enchanted.
Yeah. So we get done with dinner. We come home. And then I found out Abdur was playing Fortnite earlier that day. So the Blitz mode came out. And if you're not a Fortnite fan, you can skip to this time. And we're not talking about Fortnite. They came out with a 5-minute match for people with ADHD. And if you didn't know, it's really cool. Except my son's better at it than me. So he plays with my friends now and gets wins.
Carries the team
at 5 years old. Communicate through a microphone on a headset that he's not listening to because it's a little too loud because it's a grown-up headset. Set it on the table. Somehow audio comes through the TV. Microphone is the only thing in use. Playing his game. Yelling at my friends. Bro, go left. Boom. Medallion. 2 down. 6
Sniper.
down. 9-kill game out of 32 players. 9 kills by a 5-year-old. Total was 15, 16 kills on the team.
Those grown men would be devastated to find out it was a 5-year-old.
Now, well, they were. They found out. They invited him to play. It was not a big deal. It was like, oh yeah, I'll play with him.
No, I mean like the
other ones would be crying. It was
devastated.
Are you winning, son?
I know your dad has the controller. Shut up.
Absolutely. It would be one of those things where it's like, are you winning, son? No. It's done. So that was one of the best moments of California because I was jumping for joy. Then my brother gets in, and apparently he's been playing with them on his Switch or whatever because he doesn't have a PlayStation. But, I know there's a bit of aim assist in this. We don't care. He's 5. He needs a handicap. But boy, it has been a blast to hear about all the Fortnite shit since we've been gone. My daughter's been not so much on the phone, which is a little awkward. She's been playing with her friends, doing it all, catching up with people.
Yeah.
We'll find our niche. We have about 2 more weeks of this. You may see next week that we're a little bit happier, more cheerful, a little more rested, because we have not. But we'll get there. And we appreciate you listening to us complain about shit that does not matter during business hours. And then anything you would like to add?
Stay away from California. Yeah,
California is just fentanyl, homeless, and crazy shit. It's not worth it.
Yeah, get out while you can.
It's not a visitation. Even Disney. Did you see the transgender man that went to Disney? And
no.
Yeah, so he went back to Disney and started taking pictures in the bathroom of himself. And this is one of those like influencers. I've got trans people that
the happiest place on earth.
And he went to the happiest place on earth and took pictures in the female's restroom.
No, sir. No.
Claiming pictures of himself because he looked cute and this and that. With people in the background, it shows other humans in the background. I'd be going to jail. If my daughter or you come out and say, hey, this is happening.
I wonder if the jail on Disneyland is a happy jail. Because I know they got little holding spots till the real cops show up. Are people happy in there too?
I hope it's because it's so happy. It's absolute hell, like Hades.
All of a sudden, like a spooky Mickey with devil
AC's turned
horns
off.
comes
Yeah,
out.
the freaking things are made of granite, and if you touch them, it zaps
Mickey
you.
and Minnie have whips.
Yeah. Oh boy.
You been a bad boy.
Oh gosh, Mickey.
Oh shucks.
Yeah. But yeah, I saw that and I was disgusted. Then I found out it was Florida.
Oh, Disney World. Oh.
Yeah,
how'd they even afford
place.
to get in there?
They're pretty popular online. It's the one who's like, every time I'm misgendered, it's a knife to my heart. I showed you the comic of it because Tony's reacted. If you don't know who Tony is, it's
Kill Tony?
No, it's fucking Comedy Genius, the guy from China.
Oh.
LC sign. It's the best sign. Every time somebody's like, oh, if I kicked into your house and it's a gay man who kicks open the door, what would you do? And it's just, here you go, feed it down range. But he's like, hey, would you like to buy a sign? What's up, bro? Like the funniest shit. He's made reactions of him and it's garnered some major views.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought it was hilarious to see that now Florida is putting out an investigation on this transgender YouTuber.
Wow.
For filming in the fucking restroom,
yeah.
Which is illegal in Florida. And his very clear, unstuttered excuse. Well, every girl does it in the bathroom. You're right. Every girl does. And every girl has a right to photographer herself in a time that she feels cute for her own self. But an ignorant man to the law and the way of the world will snap photos with people in the background and other, people in a private space that he's not supposed to be in.
Girls are smart enough that if we're in the bathroom taking pics with our girlfriends, we're not putting random people in the background of our photo.
Exactly. See, and my wife is over 30 and understands that fact. And a man cannot.
If they're linking her in the background, oh, we're going to take a picture. Do you mind? And they'll
if
either
I
move
took a photo in the men's room,
at any point, men with their pants down outside of a stall.
Yeah. So imagine just a bunch of ass cracks.
Yeah.
All behind me. I'm
urinals in there. Like that's another layer to a crime.
What's that thing they do? Doing this
cool
thing?
kid stuff.
And just do some Jackie Chan pose. Jean-Claude Van Damme from the 90s. Well, besides that and the investigation, Trump's doing well, Elon's doing well, everyone's peaceful right now, Iran, Israel, all that. The world's not on fire, and we're bitching about travel. So it is what it is, and we'll see you next week. Enjoy. Bye.
Life can be super happy, life can be super sad. I'm trying super hard to separate the good and bad. I go back to my future just to get to my past, but knowing me, my DeLorean will probably crash.